So a little bit of a wait there after having to process 30 plus senior drivers. There was a lengthy queue, but we're back underway for our last of the Rotax finals here at Circuit Park Berghem. DD2 and DD2 Masters following on from the results earlier on. The only driver that got a penalty was Luca Neuenhausen. They got a 5-second penalty for a front fairing. So, as a result of the pre-final, Mieke van der Poel starts from pole position. He won the race earlier on by just over 0.4 of a second. They will line up on the front row, so Wout Kirstens will be alongside. MK Arts and Axel Hoes, row 2. Rick van der Straat and Jesse Spans, row 3. Milan Vroom and Nicolas Guillaume, row 4. Luca Neuenhausen and Wim Rouleau rounding out your top 10. Rouleau starting on Masters pole ahead of Christoph Adams and Derek van Kurt. Ton van Weert will start 13th, and alongside him will be Gwen Bloxhill, who actually retired before the race got started. So the drivers are getting themselves set and ready. After this, we'll have KZ2 Masters and KZ2 to bring us to the end of this first round of the championship season. Red lights are on, revs rise. Lights are not out, I see. So not too sure if we've had a technical issue with the lights, but they are at full racing speed. They're going to have to, so I would imagine that so the lights did not go out. The timer is starting to count down. So we are under green flag racing conditions, it looks like. So the red lights didn't go out, as I have seen. So that's the first time I've seen it. Normally, if those have gone out, but look at what's been happening though. Imke Arts has closed in on pole sitter Mieke van der Poel. Rick van der Straat has got through up 2 places past Wout Kirstens and Axel Hoes. But after the opening lap, Imke Arts is like the raging bull in the Pamplona Stampede at the minute, and she is right with Mieke van der Poel going through into turn number 4. So Rick van der Straat has dropped back behind Wout Kirstens and Axel Hoes, so might have had a drama. So Imke Arts with the Sheeples Racing crew once again for 2025. The switch really gave her a new sense of purpose last season, and she was battling right up until the season finale of the DD2 and DD2 Masters last race at the Home of Champions in November of last year. And she was one of the drivers that was really going to possibly get the opportunity to get the title last year. Sam Knopfius took the title. Mechanical black flag, meatball flag for Derek van Kurt. That could either be for chain guard or rear bumper, so that driver is going to have to park it within the next 3 laps. Otherwise, there will be a black flag issued. Wout Kirstens has now picked up the pace after the first 2 minutes. Oh, careful. That was definitely Luca Neuenhausen with the elbows out. Jesse Spans getting a little bit further away, but Luca Neuenhausen definitely showing his intent. Nicolas Guillaume trying to close in on Masters class leader Wim Rouleau. Wout Kirstens now up the rear exhaust pipe of Imke Arts. And there I saw Wim Rouleau saying to Guillaume, saying, just go past me. But it's like, Wim, if you're on the racing line and you know he's quicker, just let him pass. Because he's going to be impetuous, he's going to be impatient, and you might end up finding out the hard way. Derek van Kurt has now parked the kart in the pit lane, so the 444 is out of the race. It's getting very close indeed between our top 3 drivers, as we've only had 3 minutes completed. My God, has it been absolutely captivating just to see on the front end of the field. now Mika van der Pavet trying to get away from Imke Arts, but Imke Arts is not lifting off that throttle. She's got that firmly planted down, and it ain't coming up for nobody. 44.719 was her last lap. 44.740 for Mika van der Pavet. Wout Kirsten's last time around the circuit was a 44.765, and it's just on a 45.026. So Wout Kirsten's starting to lose a little bit of time. And Mika van der Pavet still trying to keep Imke Arts at bay as they go into turn number 5 here on lap 6. So there is still an opportunity for not just Imke Arts to try and get past Mika van der Pavet, but maybe I would say here Wout Kirstens has a good shot. Axel Hoos a little bit further back than he probably would want. He's about a 10th off of the pace. Van der Pavet responds with the fastest lap of all in this race so far, 44.455. Arts improves, 44.473. Wout Kirstens 44.467. Axel Hoos in 4th puts in a 44.588. So Van der Pavet, Kirstens, Arts, and then Hoos. That's the order of the last lap of who was the quickest and who was the slowest. But like I said, you know, nothing's said and done until that checkered flag flies. And the top 3 covered by 0.6 of a second after 7 laps of racing. There's Christophe Adams. He's got Wim Rouleau right up his chuff. And, well, Christophe, known for his wily tactics at times. Here's the most decorated Grand Finals qualifier, or participant, let's say. When Bloxhill, however, decides to throw it up the inside. Was that Nicolas Guillaume she's just got past? I think it was. So Guillaume now finds himself a little bit further back. Not been an easy one for the Belgian. Another one that was fighting with Knopf's Arts et al. For the title last year. I think, if I remember correctly, wrapped up the BMC Championship. And still the fight continues in the battle for Masters supremacy between Christophe Adams and Wim Rouleau. Rouleau looking, oh, that's shades of old from Monsieur Adams. Just neatly, just calmly goes across the front. But it wasn't aggressive, it was progressive. The big difference being that Christophe knew how to unlock the steering, open it up, and effectively say to him, well, you need to do better than that to pass me. You ain't going to get that opportunity unless I decide I'm going to provide that to you. So, you cannot separate those top 3. And now up the inside, through on Imke Arts. Wout Kirstens goes through for 2nd position. Wout Kirstens has got a real turn of pace on the 466 Tony kart. He's really just giving it quite a bit. And that's where he's really starting to... You know, it was just a case of losing a little bit of time, but then you gather yourself up again, you resync your mind into the chain of thought of like saying, okay, right, get back into it. Get all that rubbish out of your head that you don't need to think about right now. What are you concentrating on? I want to win. That just goes to show that things can work a little bit in your favour sometimes, but there are other times when it doesn't. As the three leaders now go through turn 6. So the drivers up and down the order. And well, looks like Nicolas Guillaume has also decided to call time on today. Number 416 for SP Motorsport, Wim Rouleau. And Christophe Adams has now got Gwen Block still not too far behind them, so the 413. So just under 3.5 minutes to go. Got 2 races remaining. The sunshine starting to peek through the clouds up above. We got some wonderful blue sky showing. A far cry to what happened last year. We had significant substantial rainfall around about this point last year. Anyone might remember William van der Guy's awesome race to victory in KZ2 Masters, which is up next. That was definitely one of my highlights of last year. Now Wim Rouleau looking up the inside of Christophe Adams to make contact, and Rouleau spins Adams around, and of course the gesticulation is well and truly, I think, justified. The race stewards are going to have a look at that one, but Christophe Adams was having, well, he's going to be absolutely infuriated with Wim Rouleau, and you know they'll have it. I'm sure they'll have a discussion post-race, but it's going to be investigated, I'm sure, because Rouleau was just trying to thread the eye of the needle, and Adams was trying to attempt to close that gap. Did he just do a cheeky wave saying bye-bye? Well, we'll see what comes out in the wash after that. But Wout Kerstens is right with Mika van der Pava. The gap last time was 3.2 tenths of a second. They come out of the final corner. Minute and 50 remains. Gap now down to 0.2. And van der Paver's fastest lap was a 44.086. Wout Kerstens' best lap time, 44.088. But last time around, Kerstens was just over a tenth of a second quicker than van der Pava. So it's giving the opportunity for the man in second, Wout Kerstens, to go not all out, but go to like 90–95%, and then put the feelers out, because there's not much time still to go. So still, Van der Pava, Kerstens and Arts separated by 9/10 of a second. We're going to have, I think, 2 more. We're going to probably have another 4 laps, so we could hit 20 by the end of it. It just depends on how quickly the drivers get across the line. But Kerstens now really starting to hammer the message home out on the racetrack on Mika van der Pava, saying, right, okay, we've got possibility of wet weather testing. And I went, oh, really? Told me, and I just said, well, if I was available, I would have gone to it, but there's not always that facility to do so. First, second, third now, 9.5 tenths covering them. Fourth, Axel Hoos. Fifth, Jesse Spons. But the lap time has run out. But we are going to go down to the last 2 laps. And boy, oh boy, are we not done yet. Wout Kerstens, I think, might have a surprise in the offing. for Mika van der Pavet. Don't ever count out Imke Arts. And Wout Kerstens has just responded with the overall fastest lap of the race, 44.030. I think that's possibly Ton van Veert they've got in front of them, who will be a lap down if they manage to pass him by the end of this lap, but he's a couple of corners ahead, so it might be a little bit presumptuous on that front. But Kerstens really needs to tee things up and start right now on Mika van der Pavet. Now going through the penultimate right-hander, one more corner before we have 1.1 kilometres to go until the checkered flag. So Mika van der Pavet in the 4.86 leads us onto the final lap. The 4.66 of Wout Kerstens, 0.177 behind. Really got a good run coming out of turn number 1. Blue flags. Is Wout Kerstens going to dive for the move? He's going to go for it! Wout Kerstens with the slightest of glances. And he's looking at the left front. And here comes Imke Arts. Kerstens round the outside at turn 5. And Mika van der Pavet trying to jump up and down in the seat to try and get the cart moving forward. But it's to no avail. What's Arts got? What's Imke Arts going to do? This could be a run to the line between the top 3 of the first race, the first final of the season. Arts slots in behind Mika van der Pavet. Wout Kerstens goes defensive into the final corner. Run to the line. And Wout Kerstens, he wins it by 53 thousandths. What a race there for the DD2 victory. Wout Kerstens takes it. Now we turn our attention back to DD2 Masters. And I'm sure there's going to be a bone of contention about this. But out of the final corner, Wim Rouleau will take the win. But that is on the road. Whether afterwards that might be changed. Christoph Adams takes second, but Wout Kerstens wins the first final of the season for DD2 by 53 thousandths of a second. Imke Arts rounds out the top 3, a further 2 tenths behind Axel Hoos, Jesse Spans, Rick van der Straat, Luca Neuenhuizen, Milan Vroom, Gwen Bloxhill. Great work by the young lady driver to get up to 9th at the end. Wim Rouleau on the road finishes 10th. Christoph Adams in 11th. First and second with Ton van Veert. Rounding out the 12 finishers, Nicolas Guillaume and Derek van Kurt, unfortunately retiring from the race. Next up, it's going to be the KZ2 Master Final.